Well, hey out there, folks. It's Bradford, your carnivore curmudgeon, and today I'm going to show you how I made this creamy, tender, delicious, old-fashioned cube steak. And a good place to start is with some cube steak. I got this on sale at the local grocery store, marked down to, I believe it was like $5.39 a pound, which, gosh, you can hardly get anything less expensive than that these days, already cubed up. I like to use cube steak in my chili and other things, but today I'm just going to make it kind of the old-fashioned way with a little bit of gravy. And I'm going to start by using some Redmond's real salt and some pepper. I know people don't all get along with pepper, but I'm fine with it. That's what I'm going to do. You can omit that if you like. And because we are going to eat both sides, we are going to season both sides. And that is the starting point. Very simple, very easy. And now it's time to get it in the pan. For that, I'm going to heat up some bacon fat. Adds a nice rich flavor to it, a little smokiness, and it's just a good frying oil, and that's what we're going to do with these cube steaks. So first I'm going to put them in there at kind of a medium high. I want to get a little bit of a sear, a crust on them, but then we're going to turn them down after a bit, and I'll show you that in a minute. And once that gray band starts to form on the bottom as it heats up from the bottom, no measurement, I'm just going to splash a little red wine vinegar. Of course, it's optional. I'm going to splash it all over the top. And then I'm going to take some Where's Your Sister sauce. And yes, Neil, I know how it's actually pronounced. You giant humorless killjoy. And yes, I know it's not carnivore, and of course, this is optional as well. But it does bring some nice flavors to the meat and then later to the gravy. So let this cook for just a minute or two, maybe 3, and then it's going to be time to flip. Now, obviously, because we added some liquid, we're not going to get a sear on the other side, but all this is going to get smothered in some delicious gravy anyway. So even if we only get a little bit of a crust on one side, which I really didn't get a hard crust on this, it'll be fine. Now, another optional ingredient that you can add is just a little bit of diced onion. I'm going to call this maybe a quarter of a cup of relatively finely chopped onion. Toss that in there. Also imparts some beautiful flavors. And we're going to cover this and let it simmer on low for about 20 to 30 minutes. And look, I'm not the only one that eats in my house, so sometimes I have to do other things to please the rest of the family, rightly so. Now we're going to start making the base for our gravy, which is going to be about 3 tablespoons of sour cream. This also, like the red wine vinegar, gives it a nice little tang. It's not a great deal of sour cream, but it makes it sort of rich. I'm going to pour in a couple splashes of some homemade beef stock. You can always use water if you don't have any beef stock. And then after that 20 to 30 minutes simmering on low, we're going to pull these beautiful steaks out and get our gravy all prepared. But I gotta say, everybody, I could stop right here. I'd be perfectly happy with this cube steak with just those little bit of juices poured over top. But let's take our gravy to a slightly higher level with some richness. So it's time to pour in that beef stock and that sour cream. And we're just going to whisk it up until it gets really well incorporated and it all seems to be one color, not separate white, separate brown. I'm using this terrific, it's called My Place pans, and I really like them. I'll probably do a follow-up review on these in the near future because I've had them a while and I have some thoughts on their different items. But the gravy, once it is incorporated and stirred up real good and you kind of break up all those little solids, now I'm going to use the secret ingredient. Everybody's new favorite, and probably mine too, hate to admit it, butter powder. But that's all it is. It's just butter powder. It's affordable. You can get a big old jar of it for, I don't know, 15 bucks off of Amazon. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the description. But instead of using, cornstarch or beef gelatin or something like that, I'm just going to add about 3 tablespoons of this butter powder to thicken it up. And not only does it help thicken it up, but I got to tell you, the flavor of this stuff is just remarkable. And everyone else, we devoured this whole plate last night, the three of us. And every one of us who had this said, that's probably the best gravy I've made since starting my carnivore journey. Nobody had any kind of complaints on, that was weird or the texture was off. It was just silky and beautiful and tasted amazing. Let that reduce down just a little bit to thicken up, and then there's nothing left to do but to plate it up and stick it in your face. I think where I live, cube steak gets marked down a lot because people don't know how to cook it. It's not a hamburger. You can't cook it fast and hot and expect to enjoy it. It's just too tough. You got to give it a little bit of time. It's not necessarily a slow cooker meal, but if you give it a little bit of time to develop and to just kind of steam in that pan, and then especially if you pair it with something like a beautiful silky gravy, well, you just can't hardly go wrong. It doesn't matter if you're a carnivore or keto or ketovore or low carb. This is just a tasty dish. You can just be eating a standard American diet, and I would still recommend this recipe, simple as it is, for good old-fashioned cube steak. And once you use the presentation jazz hands, it's got to be good. And one little taste test confirmed. Yep, outstanding. I hope you give this a try, and if you do, let me know how it turned out for you. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.